For many people who love heavy metal music, Ozzy Osbourne's name brings back powerful memories. As the frontman of Black Sabbath and later as a soloist, Ozzy touched millions of hearts around the world. But behind the stage persona, his life was filled with personal challenges that shaped who he became. Sadly, on today's date, July 22nd, 2025, the music world lost this legendary figure when Ozzy passed away at age 76, surrounded by his loving family. To honor him, let's learn about Ozzy's struggles and accomplishments, a son of rock's most legendary icons. Azie Osborne was born John Michael Osborne on December 3, 1948 in Birmingham, England. He grew up in the working-class area of Aston, where his mother, Lillian, worked at a factory, and his father, Jack, worked night shifts as saddlemaker. Young John struggled in school due to dyslexia and left at age 15 to work various jobs. But everything changed when he heard the Beatles. Heck knew he wanted to be a singer in a rock band, even though it seemed impossible for a working-class kid from Birmingham. By the late 1960s, Ozzy formed a band with local musicians Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Bill Ward, originally Khalid Earth. They changed their name to Black Sabbath. All four came from tough Birmingham neighborhoods and shared a love for blues and rock music. In 1970, Black Sabbath released their first album, creating a sound darker and heavier than anything before. Later that year, Paranoid became their most famous album, with songs like Iron Man, Warpigs, and Paranoid becoming anthems for young people who felt misunderstood. Critics didn't know what to make of this new sound, but young people loved it. Black Sabbath essentially created heavy metal as a genre, with Ozzy's haunting voice perfectly matching their dark, powerful music. Behind the success, Ozzy fought personal demons with alcohol and drug addiction. All Black Sabbath members used substances, but Ozzy's lifestyle was the most extreme. His behavior became unpredictable. He would miss shows or perform while heavily intoxicated. His drinking and drug use put strain on relationships with bandmates who felt he wasn't taking the band seriously enough. By 1979, Ozzy's unreliable behavior led his bandmates to fire him from the band he helped create. He was devastated, feeling his career was over. He locked himself away for 3 months, drinking heavily and using cocaine, thinking he would return to Birmingham unemployed. Two people saved Ozzy from this dark period. Don Arden signed him to a record label, and Don's daughter Sharon was sent to help get his life together. Sharon saw potential in Ozzy and became his manager. Along with guitarist Randy Rhoads, they created Blizzard of Oz in 1980. Blizzard of Oz was a huge success with hits like Crazy Train and Mr. Crowley. Ozzy's solo career took off immediately, proving he could succeed without Black Sabbath. His theatrical live shows were even more shocking than before, cementing his image as rock's ultimate wild man. On March 19, 1982, Randy Rhoads was killed in a plane crash while touring, as he was devastated by losing his musical partner and close friend. Randy was only 25 and had helped rebuild Ozzy's career. The loss hit harder than almost anything in his life. In 1982, Ozzy married Sharon, who had saved his career and possibly his life. She became his manager, business partner, and the person who kept him grounded. Together, they had 3 children, Amy, Kelly, and Jack. Having a family gave Ozzy new purpose and responsibility. Sharon proved brilliant at managing his career, creating Ozfest Touring Festival, which became one of the biggest box office attractions of the 1990s. Throughout the 1980s and 1990 seconds, Ozzy released 13 studio albums as a solo artist, with the first 8 achieving platinum status. He won 5 Grammy Awards, earning respect as a serious musician. His live performances remained legendary, with magical connections to audiences worldwide. Although as he aged, decades of hard living caught up with him. In 2003, he had a serious accident, breaking his collarbone, 6 ribs, and a neck vertebrae. He required multiple back and neck surgeries over the years, with each operation more difficult than the last. The most significant health challenge came in 2020 when Ozzy publicly revealed his Parkinson's disease diagnosis. This explained his walking difficulties and hand tremors that had been worsening for years. Sharon revealed that while Parkinson's affected his mobility, it didn't damage his voice. The disease progressively limited his movement, making touring increasingly difficult. He was forced to cancel multiple tour dates as his condition worsened. Despite this, Ozzy remained determined to perform for his fans one final time. His battle with Parkinson's was particularly cruel for someone whose career had been built on dynamic stage performances. The man who once ran wild across stages now struggled to walk, but his spirit remained unbroken. Despite his deteriorating health, Azie was determined to give his fans one last show. On July 5, 2025, he reunited with original Black Sabbath band Destiny. Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Bill Ward for Back to the Beginning at Birmingham's Villa Park Stadium. Over 4,500 fans attended while 5.8 million watched online. Because of Parkinson's, Azie performed seated on a black leather throne, but his voice remained powerful. Tears streamed down his face as he told the crowd, "You've got no idea how I feel." The concert featured Black Sabbath's most iconic songs: War Pigs, Nib, Iron Man, and Paranoid. Bands influenced by Black Sabbath, including Metallica, Slayer, and Alice in Chains, performed tributes. It was a fitting farewell from someone who had given everything to music. The performance proved that even with severe physical limitations, Azie's connection with audiences remained magical. His voice, though he sat motionless, still carried the power to move thousands of people. It was both triumphant and heart-alleged. Saying goodbye, just over 2 weeks after his final performance on July 22, 2025, Ozzy Osbourne passed away at home, surrounded by family. The family statement read, "It is with more sadness than mere words can convey that we have to report that our beloved Ozzy Osbourne has passed away this morning. He was with his family and surrounded by love." His death marked the end of one of rock music's most remarkable careers. The man who had served decades of extreme substance abuse, multiple accidents, and serious health problems had finally succumbed to his battle with Parkinson's disease. The felt especially poignant, coming so soon after his emotional farewell performance. It was as if he had summoned his remaining strength for one final gift to his fans before letting go. Azie's life story reads like an impossible fantasy that no fiction writer could have imagined. A working-class kid from Birmingham, born into poverty and struggle, somehow became one of the world's most famous rock stars. He survived everything that's have killed him multiple times over and remained beloved by millions often until his final day on Earth. The list of things Azie survived during his lifetime seems almost unbelievable. He consumed massive amounts of drugs and alcohol for decades, had numerous serious accidents, underwent multiple major surgeries, and faced health challenges that would have stopped most people in their tracks. Yet, he kept going, kept performing, and kept connecting with audiences around the world. Scientists actually studied his because of his incredible ability to consume drugs and alcohol without dying. Researchers were genuinely curious about how his body could handle substances that would have been fatal to most people. They found genetic variations that helped his body process alcohol and drugs differently than most people, leading to him being called a genetic mutant in scientific circles. But this wasn't just about his physical resilience. What made the studies even more interesting was discovering that Ozzy also had genetic markers associated with increased risk of addiction, which explained why he struggled so much with substances in the first place. His body could handle more, but it also craved more, creating a dangerous cycle that habitued for most of his adult life. Beyond the wild stories and shocking behavior that made headlines, Ozzy was remarkably honest about his struggles in a way that was rare for celebrities of his era. He never tried to hide his addiction problem, his mental health issues, or his physical health challenges. When he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, he could have kept it private, but he chose to share his battle with the world. This honesty made him relatable to fans dealing with their own challenges, whether it was addiction, family problems, health scares, or just feeling like they didn't fit in anywhere. People saw that even a world-famous rock star could struggle with the same kinds of problems they faced in their own lives. His openness about his mistakes also showed people that it was possible to survive your worst moments and keep going. When Ozzy talked about his darkest periods, he didn't glamorize them or make them seem cool. He was honest about how destructive and painful they were. Youth also showed that recovery and redemption were possible. His 40-year marriage to Sharon was one of rock music's greatest love stories, proving that true love could survive even the most extreme circumstances. She didn't just save his career when he was at his lowest point after being fired from Black Sabbath. She probably saved his life. Sharon stood by him through years of addiction, multiple health scares, countless tours, business challenges, and all the chaos that came with his level of fame. Their relationship wasn't perfect, and they both admitted to going through difficult periods. Sharon even filed for divorce at one point during Z's worst drinking period, but they worked through their problems and came back stronger. She became not just his wife, but his manager, business partner, best friend, and the anchor that kept them grounded when everything else in his life was spinning out of control. What made their love story even more remarkable was how they supported each other through their individual things. When Sharon was diagnosed with cancer, Azie was there for her just as she had been there for him. When he was struggling with Parkinson's disease, she became his caregiver while still managing his career and their family. His children speak lovingly about their father despite all his flaws and the difficulties of growing up in such an unusual household. This shows that underneath all the madness, the wild behavior, and the rock star persona was a man who truly loved his family and tried his best to be a good father. Even when was struggling with his own demons, Kelly, Jack, and Amy all found success in the entertainment industry, carrying forward the family legacy in their own unique ways. Kelly became a successful personality and fashion designer. Jack developed his own TV shows and became a respected producer. Amy chose a more private path, but also pursued music. Each of them inherited different aspects of their father's creativity and determination. But perhaps most importantly, all of his children have spoken publicly about how Azie taught him to be honest about their struggles and to never give up no matter how difficult things became. They learned from both his mistakes and his successes. And they've all worked to break the cycle of addiction that affected their family for so many years. The fact that his children not only forgave him for his mistakes, but actively celebrate him as a father shows the depth of love and understanding in the Osbourne family. It proves that even Simeon with Ozzy's extreme lifestyle account create meaningful, lasting relationships with the people who mattered most to him. Ozzy's influence on rock and heavy metal cannot be overstated. Black Sabbath essentially created heavy metal, and his solo work defined what it meant to be a rock star. Countless bands cite him as an influence, and his impact echoes through rock music today. His music spoke to people who felt like outsiders. Songs like Crazy Train and Iron Man became anthems for those dealing with difficult situations, proving you didn't need to be perfect to be successful or loved. The nickname Prince of Darkness suggested something frightening. Azie was capable of great tenderness and vulnerability. His music was a safe space for people who didn't fit in anywhere else, showing it was okay to be different, angry, or confused about the world. He proved that you could reinvent yourself multiple times throughout life, from Black Sabbath frontman to soloist to reality TV star to beloved family man. Each chapter showed different aspects of his complex personality, as he also demonstrated incredible resilience. Faced addiction, tragedy, health problems, and personal struggles that would have destroyed many people. But he kept going. His survival itself became part of his legend. Azie Osborne's death marks the end of an era in rock music. He was one of the last links to heavy metal's early days when music was new, dangerous, and exciting. Future generations will discover his music, but they'll never experience the shock and thrill of seeing him perform live. His story is ultimately one of survival and redemption. He made countless mistakes, hurt people he loved, and nearly destroyed himself multiple times. But he also created some of the most powerful music in rock history and showed that even the most difficult circumstance can be overcome. For fans who grew up with his music, as he represented freedom and rebellion, he showed that being different was not just acceptable but could be celebrated. His journey from troubled Birmingham teenager to global icon proved that anyone could transcend their circumstances. As we remember Azie Osbourne, we celebrate not just his music but his entire journey. He stayed true to himself while touching millions of lives around the world. His final performance seated on that throne but still commanding the stage perfectly captured his spirit, physically limited but spiritually unbroken. The Prince of Darkness is gone, but his music and influence will live forever. Rock and roll has lost one of its greatest voice, but the world is more interesting because Azie Osbourne was in it. Rest in peace, Ozzy. Thank you for the music, the madness, and the memories. You truly were one of a kind. If you enjoyed learning about Ozzy Osbourne's incredible life story, be sure to subscribe to never miss another tributato the legends of rock music.